we're going to waste no time. The teams are ready. This has been a long time coming. Let's begin the draft. And the Atlanta Falcons are on the clock. So as you can see from the draft order up top, the Falcons, the Bills, and Vikings own every single pick in the top 5. So we are going to get some awesome pieces added to these teams who, for all intents and purposes, missed the playoffs last season, looking to improve. We'll see who the Atlanta Falcons take here momentarily. A lot of speculation. The pick is in. Will Anderson Jr. goes number 1 overall. Oh my heavens. What does this add to the Atlanta Falcons, guys?
Ron, I had some intel that the Buffalo Bills were looking at drafting Will Anderson Jr., so that puts a little curveball, throws a little curveball to the Bills. I wonder what they're going to do at number 3.
Right. It was the Texans' pick. Buffalo traded back to number 3, and then in swoops, no pun intended, the Falcons, and they grabbed their guy, Will Anderson Jr. Obviously, he's going to provide a good, not only a hole being plugged, it might even be a number 1 day starter there at left outside linebacker. Holy moly. So now the Vikings are on the clock with the number 2 overall. Obviously speculated to, take a quarterback. You just have to figure out which one it is. The pick is in. It is Anthony Richardson. So the pick is Anthony Richardson. Comes in, hidden talent, 6'4" scrambler out of Florida. My heavens. We don't know the overall yet, so we will figure that out. So elite speed, elite arm strength. The successor to Kirk Cousins. My goodness. And now Buffalo on the clock. I think we all know where they're going here. Do we have a trade?
Ron, I think the Buffalo Bills might have hired Rick Spielman.
Rick Spielman?
They traded back out of the 3rd.
What?
Overall pick. They traded out of the 1st. Now they've traded out of the 3rd to the late in the 1st round. They got a couple picks out of the deal. A little bit more draft capital for them for this year's draft.
Oh my heavens. So in a unprecedented, unpredictable move, the Bills trade out of number 3 to the Patriots. My heavens. All right. So let's see who they take. The pick is in. It's Miles Murphy, right end out of Clemson. Slated to go outside of the top 10. He is number 3 overall. This changes everything. Now on the clock.
It was a strange move that Buffalo decided to trade within their own division as well.
Right. Yeah, you add that another piece onto the proverbial layer. And my heavens. So the right end, Miles Murphy. Of course, the number 1 rated right end, obviously. Now the Falcons are on the clock for their 2nd pick in 3. Pick is in. It is Bryce Young, quarterback out of Alabama. There you have it.
Got our guy.
Got their guy indeed. Bryce Young, welcome to the land of the Falcons. All right, so Minnesota back on the clock here. They recently traded up earlier today. This really changes everything for this pick now that Skoronski is still available. They do have Christian Darrisaw on roster, but oh my heavens. Let's see. Couple positions of need to be filled. And I'm being told that the pick is in. It is cornerback Eli Ricks out of Alabama. So they go defense, and we'll see if it pays off for them here. Eli Ricks is the pick there. Interesting.
Interesting. That is interesting. I'm not sure, Ron. Did the Vikings lose a couple corners in the offseason? Because if I remember correctly, they had like the first and third as far as interceptions go on the roster between Xavier Rhodes and Cameron Dantzler.
Yes, Cameron Dantzler is still here. We did lose out on Xavier Rhodes. He did decline all offers. Miles Murphy Hunting, Murphy Hunting. My goodness. Draft night nerves coming out. Murphy Bunting is still on roster, but they traded away their other corner they got in free agency. And I guess Eli Ricks was just too good to pass up. So now the fourth corner being added to that roster. So now Washington is on the clock. We will see who they take. The pick is in. And it's Tyree Wilson, the left end. My heavens, Skoronski still on the board at 7. Gotta believe he's going here, though.
That makes me mad.
I
I got an insight that the Falcons were looking to trade back.
Oh, really? Okay.
And to get an extra pick with the Texans.
Jeez.
Which the Commanders did not take a QB, so that would have been a game changer.
It would have been a game changer. They still would have gotten their guy. So outside of the teams that we follow here, defensive ends have been picked. Peter Skoronski still on the board for the Texans. Let's see what they do here. The pick is in. And it's Jalen Carter, number 1 defensive tackle. So all defense here. 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7 rather. Sorry. My goodness. Okay. Steelers on the clock. See what they want to do. Pick is in. And there it is. Peter Skoronski goes number 8.
Goes to Pittsburgh.
Oh my heavens. Washington back on the clock. So Peter, originally in the beginning of the season, the mock drafts had him going number 1 and number 2. He slides to number 8. Oh boy. So it'd be interesting to see what his measurables are. And see if Minnesota's going to shoot themselves in the foot once again. Let's see who they pick with their second here in the top 10. Brian Branch, free safety out of Alabama. So defense, very heavily here in the top 10. And we like to joke about it. Will the roar be restored? Let's see if the Lions make a worthy pick here. The pick is in. And they pick up Paris Johnson Jr., left tackle, Ohio State. Oh, boy. Okay.
Have a completely new coaching staff, so we'll have to see how that turns out for them.
Yeah, they really cleaned house. And I do believe their head coach went to the Falcons, right? Did you guys pick him up? Mr. Dan Campbell?
Yeah, we signed him as a defensive coordinator.
Nice.
We thought his intensity would help our defense, and we're very defensive-minded here, so we thought he'd be a great pickup for us.
Indeed. Makes all the sense in the world. Arizona has been on the clock. I'm told that the pick is in. We'll see what they want to do here. And it's Kaylee Ringo, or Kaylee Ringo, however you want to say it. So the number 1 corner goes at number 11. All right.
More defense coming off the board.
Yeah, there's still a lot of these offensive powerhouses. My goodness. So almost halfway through the first round already. The pick is in for the Chargers. They know who they want right away. And they take Brian Breesy, another defensive lineman. My heavens. All right. So
CJ Stroud is still out there. Nope, he's just sliding.
He is falling quicker than a bag of potatoes off the Empire State Building. The previous mock drafts had all of the QBs outside of, I do believe, the top 16. So, oh boy. I didn't think he would actually slide down past 13 unless the Raiders take him to back up Mr. Carr. The pick is in. Here we go. Raiders select Kayshawn Boot? Number 1 wide receiver in the draft. Sorry if I'm butchering it.
Maybe Boutte?
Boutte, yeah, that could be it.
Boutte, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, we need to get some clarification here. And now the Eagles, the scumbags, the dirty birds, however you want to call them, on the clock. The pick is in. They select Josh Downs, back-to-back wide receivers now. I do believe the next user team pick is Minnesota at 32, unless somebody has any information otherwise.
I believe Buffalo is, with their trade back, they're picking at number 27.
Okay, so 27, so just about 12 picks from now. The Titans have submitted their selection, and with the 15th overall pick, they select CJ Stroud. So this is interesting. Malik Willis, Ryan Tannehill, and now CJ. Holy moly. Huh. Very, very interesting. 3 big name quarterbacks there. And they just drafted Malik Willis last season. All right, so another bird team on the clock, the Ravens. The pick is in. They will select Tony Grimes, cornerback. We're back to defense here. And then, of course, those gosh darn Jets. They're on the clock now. Any guesses here, fellas, on what the Jets are going to do? I don't remember what they picked up in free agency.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards they're probably looking at an offensive lineman.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes the most sense. The pick is in. And, ooh, they go middle linebacker. Okay. Noah Sewell or Sewell. So the Seattle Seahawks, they do have a serviceable quarterback. The name escapes me right now. Be interesting to see what they do here. Maybe defensive back? Just fit with the theme and continue it? Their pick is in, and with the 18th pick in the NFL draft, the Seahawks will select Jackson Smith-Njigba, wide receiver. So adding some more depth there. All right. I do believe he was the 2nd overall wide receiver. All right. So Vikings pick at 32. We got a 26. Bills pick still ahead. This is number 19. The pick is in. Miami Dolphins will take Broderick Jones, left tackle, so an offensive lineman going to help out Tua down in Miami. Actually, I don't even know. I don't
think Tua even started this last season. I believe Teddy Bridgewater was the QB of choice.
That is correct. He has left the team. I'm not sure which one he was traded to. I do believe he's on the Saints or the Aints, however you want to call it, if I'm not mistaken. Oh boy. Either way, more protection for whoever decides to go down in Miami. So back-to-back Florida picks. Number 20, the Bucks. Big pick here. They will select Will Levis, quarterback. And they needed a quarterback. You got to think they were salivating, foaming at the mouth at CJ Stroud sliding, but they got taken just picks ago. So they will take
Tom Brady. Tom Brady finally retiring.
Yeah. So oh my heavens.
Changing the guard there in Tampa.
And the successor is probably named after a gene company. Not the correct spelling, but that's okay. We'll call him Will Gene Levis. Dallas, America's team, supposedly on the clock here. Their pick is in, I'm being told, and the 21st pick will go to Cam Smith, another corner, highly touted, 3rd overall in the draft, and it's gone 2-1-3 as far as the corners go. So we'll see how that shapes up down in Texas. Number 22 belongs to the Jaguars. Their pick is in. We're motoring right along here. And Michael Mayer, tight end, number 1 tight end, off the board now. Oh, goody. Minnesota was trying to get him with 32, if we're being honest. Might have to switch up the old strat a little bit. Minnesota just has Nick Muse 62 overall on the roster. So Houston will now have their second pick in the first round. Pick is in. And Trenton Simpson, left outside linebacker out of Clemson. Oh boy. All right.
Very defensive heavy in this first round of the draft here.
Yeah, I am flabbergasted. Oh my heavens. All right, so Carolina, their pick is in. And it's another quarterback, Tyler Van Dyke. Or I think he's missing a letter. The league is kind of breaking down here, or not really breaking down, but coming down on words that could be not safe for work. So I think he dropped a letter. Either way, Tyler Van Dyke goes to Carolina, and now Chicago, a big team that was active very heavily in the offseason and amassed just a great wide receiver core that Minnesota has to put up with for the next couple years. At least 3. Let's see. Their pick is in, and they will add a right guard, Emil Ekier. Either way, Minnesota had him at their board on 32. He goes 6 picks ahead. Oh my heavens. Are you serious? Oh boy. So Minnesota's coveted right guard is taken. 7 picks. My apologies. Randy can't do math. Quick math. Here we go. Chiefs pick is in. I do apologize. And it's another outside linebacker, Isaiah Foskey. And now the Buffalo Bills, of course, see if they want to trade back out of the first. They were active prior to draft night. And here tonight, they traded back their first pick from 2. Let's see what they want to, or 3 rather. See what they want to do. The pick is in. And the Bills have traded, looks, with the Seahawks, so they moved down a pick. Do you want to explain the trade here? What transpired here?
Seattle wanted to move up 1 spot. It didn't make a lot of logical sense for Seattle, but for Buffalo, they're gaining some more draft capital.
Gotta love it. Rick Spielman is alive and well. We got to make sure that he didn't sign as a GM in the offseason. Slick Rick reincarnated over there in Buffalo. I actually like it. So you give up 1 spot, probably give up, well, depending on who Seattle takes, you don't really lose anything. You only win. So more draft capital coming to Buffalo. So here we go. The pick is in. Seattle knew who they wanted. They were aggressive. And they pick Henry To'o, middle linebacker. I do believe he was the 2nd overall middle linebacker, if I'm not mistaken. And then Buffalo is on the clock once again. See what they want to do here. So for Minnesota, their right guard off the board. Randy using his insider knowledge here. They do tell me a couple things. I'm not allowed to divulge, obviously, but we'll see what Buffalo wants to do here as they are contemplating once again. And they trade back one more time. Completely out of the first round, it would appear. Do we have any insight on this trade?
I think it was a mistake, but I think that Slick Rick misread the years on the picks.
Oh boy. How many spots did we miss out on there?
I need to double check that.
Okay, well, you double check. Carolina is very, very excited for what just transpired. Their pick is in. We will take a peek at the pick and it's Brian Robinson, the first running back to go here at number 28. The Colts are on the clock. Oh, wow, their pick is already in. My heavens, they know who they want, and they picked Andre Carter, who, of course, the Vikings were going to pick at 32. Now the Vikings don't know what to do at that pick. I'm going to have to remove that off the draft board here. So Randy Replay can now fully announce that 2 picks have been stolen here, top 32, away from Minnesota. My heavens. Number 1, left end, Andre Carter, now gone.
Well, Randy, it appears that Buffalo was trying to trade with the Packers, but mistakenly traded with the Panthers.
Ah, I mean, I can see how that could happen. It is a high stress situation. You only get a certain amount of time per pick. And it looks like they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 picks back, so that's not horrible. Who knows? The player still might be there. Depending on what the Packers do, their pick is in. We appreciate all the information there. And Tanner McKee, quarterback, Stanford, the tallest QB in the draft at 6'6". He goes 30th to the Green Bay Packers. We all know the Vikings like their tall quarterbacks. They chose a 6'4", and now the 6'6" tallest quarterback in the draft goes by way of Green Bay. Dolphins are on the clock. Their second pick in the first round to almost close it out. And the pick is in. They will select Antonio Johnson, the first strong safety off the board, and another defensive back here. So let's take a peek. Minnesota contemplating. They do have some trade offers for this pick, one of them being the Lions. Oh boy. And they're going to forego all trade offers, I'm being told, and they're going to make their selection. So we'll see who comes off the board here for Minnesota. And I'm being told the pick is in. It's going to be Jacqueline Roy or Jacqueline Roy, however you want to say it. Either way, defensive tackle out of LSU. They kind of reached here. They kind of got their hand forced by having their other selection being taken. So I hope that doesn't come back to bite us in the butt later on. But they wanted to make sure that he was still there, and it appears that the next pick they have will be there as well. So maybe a little bit of reach. Time will tell. So a good backup to Dalvin Tomlinson. And we'll see what Atlanta wants to do as they're on the clock now. And the pick is in for Atlanta. It is Quentin Johnston, wide receiver out of TCU. They need some wide receiver help, and they seem to have got it here. What do you think about the pick, guys?
Well, obviously, as you said, I needed a receiver. I've been scouting him throughout his college days, obviously. He's big and then catching traffic, elite, I'd say.
Okay.
And, I mean, he fights for yards, and I'm really into those types of guys, and obviously lining him up next to Kyle Pitts is going to be huge. You double team one of them, I mean, the other guy's a monster too, so, I mean, be careful.
It is a lose-lose situation there for defenses, especially in the red zone. That's going to be huge.
Yep.
And of course, they got a new quarterback gonna be thrown to him. So my goodness, what a good pick there. Whew. Los Angeles on the clock now. I'm being told their pick is in, and then we go to Buffalo. Seattle coming up with back-to-backs here in the second round. And to close out, well, actually open up the second round. Quentin Johnston goes to Atlanta, and the Rams, they will select. Oh man. Felix Andudik Uzama. I'm just going to say that. Probably butchered it, but here we go. Right outside linebacker. So another linebacker, the 3rd overall, I do believe. Maybe the 4th overall from Kansas State. Either way. Wow. So I do believe that is the 6th linebacker, 3rd right outside overall, according to my sheet. My goodness. So Buffalo being on the clock now after the trade out of the first round. We'll see what they want to do. And then it's Chicago, Seattle, New York, and Pittsburgh. All right. So it looks like Buffalo. Is this coming across? Is this? Did they trade one more time?
Yeah, it looks like they're able to successfully make the right trade this time.
There we go. Okay, so Chicago on the clock. They were aggressive. They traded up again, and once again, the team that trades up picks right away. And it's Siaki Ika, or Ika. Siaki Ika. Oh my gosh. Siaki Ika. That is a tongue twister and a half. Detroit. Oh my gosh. Defensive tackle out of Baylor. So another DT goes. Not currently on Minnesota's board, although he is the 3rd overall. And my heavens, so that defensive line either gets a little bit stronger or they get some depth here in round number 2. Buffalo once again on the clock. Highly rumored that they're fielding offers, and we're going to see another trade here, as they've traded 4 for 4 here. Let's see if they go 5 for 5. Oh, Nelly. And the pick is in for the Bills. Sorry. It is Jordan Addison, wide receiver out of USC. So he will be playing alongside Stephon Diggs. What do you think of the pick? They were looking at grabbing a different wide receiver earlier when they had a little snafu there in the trade market, and getting snatched up by the Falcons. So this was the next best pick for them. So a little, not really controversy unknowingly, but my goodness, at least they get the next guy on their board. So now Seattle back to back. Their pick is in, number 5 in the 2nd round. DeJuan Jones, right tackle out of Ohio State. They have their next pick in. Oh my God, we can't even analyze that one before the next one comes. And it is Andrew Voorhees. Once again, a Minnesota scouted player, left guard out of USC, comes off the board. As far as we know, no relation to Jason, but we're not sure. So once again, a Minnesota draftee, or would-be draftee, comes off their board. So now at 57, they might have to reach here. We'll find out. Giants pick is in. Gonna be, oh my gosh, the guy with the weird last name. DeMarvion Overshone, middle linebacker out of Texas, goes to the Giants. Steelers back on the clock here. Their pick is in. Jahmyr Gibbs, running back out of Alabama. Another Alabama off the board here.
I got some insight. The Falcons were looking at them. Their next pick.
Oh, dang. So Jahmyr Gibbs off the board here. And seems to be a trend here. All the user picks getting scooped up. So the Colts will add to their offensive line Anton Harrison, left tackle, Oklahoma. Okay. I do believe he was not. I was going to say, he's not on the Vikings board. Here come the Bears. They will select Nolan Smith, left outside linebacker. So a little strength in that linebacking core once again. Cardinals are on the clock now. And they will select Jordan Battle. So the second strong safety goes off the board here. In the 2nd round, Falcons got a pick coming up here in about 4. And then, as far as I know, Buffalo should have one coming up. And then Minnesota picks at 57. Chargers pick is in. Zach Harrison, another defensive end. So if Minnesota wants one, they're gonna have to get one soon. Raiders are on the clock now. Their pick is in. Wow, we are motoring through here. And Jalen Duncan, left tackle out of Maryland, goes to help out Derek Carr. Oh, goodness. And now the Aints are on the clock. So this is a big pick.
Boo!
There it is. I was waiting for something to happen, and their pick is in. They select.
By the way, don't find me.
Will McDonald, left end out of Iowa State. So another defensive end. Minnesota kind of losing out here. We'll have to take a look at that. And that'll bring up Atlanta on the clock here. Second round selection, 15 of the round. The pick is in, and it is Cedric Von Prawn, the #1 overall center in the draft. My heavens, he slid all the way down to the second round. Holy moly. So again, member on Minnesota Vikings board, they did actually trade today for the one they missed out on in free agency. So yeah, I feel good about the pick. He's the #1 rated center. Gonna be good for protecting Bryce Young. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I've been scouting him, obviously, and him going to Georgia connection. And I saw him jump up on the draft board a lot. A huge jump at that. And the fact that he slid to here, I mean, how could you pass up on that? Especially when we need help at the O-line.
Right, and then I totally forgot. It's a center out of Georgia, and that is a hometown story there, so I'm sure that phone call was emotional. Holy moly. So you love to see stories like that in the NFL. You don't get this anywhere else. The Ravens pick, I'm being told, is in. They will select Javian Cohen. We're going to go with that, left guard out of Alabama. So more left guards going. Minnesota, if you want to get one, you're going to have to do it here with your next pick in about 30 picks. We'll see. Actually, not really. They pick next at 25. The Bucks are on the clock. They got a quarterback last time, I do believe. We'll see what they want to do with their second round selection. It's Malachi Moore. So they go quarterback and cornerback. Holy moly. That is the another Minnesota Vikings touted draft selection. My heavens. So Seattle back on the clock for what feels like their 10th pick already. And we'll see what they want to do here with number 18 in the second round. And they pick John Michael Schmitz, the Minnesota center. Holy cow. So the second center, you have to believe they were trying to get the one that the Falcons selected a couple picks ago. So they have to settle for John Michael Schmitz. So Minnesota boy goes over to Seattle in the land of rain and Starbucks. The Dolphins are on the clock now. I'm being told their pick is in. We are motoring right along here. A.T. Perry, wide receiver out of Wake Forest, and Tampa Bay gets another pick. Holy moly. So this will directly affect the Falcons if it's a good one. Pick is in. They will select J.L. Skinner, strong safety out of Boise State. Of course, they play with the Smurf turf. The largest, now this is a weird stat, but Randy Replay had to dig for this one. The largest square footage to ever be the demise of birds, because they think it's a body of water there, the blue turf. They dive bomb it and they, break their beaks. So, little random story there. Story time with Randy Replay here on draft night. Dallas is on the clock now. I'm being told their pick is in. They will select Tank Bigsby, the second or third running back to go here in the draft. And don't let the name fool you. This guy can move out of Auburn. Now the Lions, will the roar be restored? They're in complete rebuild implosion mode, as well as the Falcons, but here we go. The Lions will select, oh gosh. Zion Tupuola Fetui. That's what I'm going to go with. If you guys have any better guesses, let me know. Right outside linebacker out of Washington. My goodness, some of these names are incredible. Of course, Mr. Poole is still out there in undrafted land. And Seattle with their 11,000th pick here in the draft. I'm told that their pick is in. Coming up next, we have Carolina, Minnesota, Lions, and then Buffalo. And Seattle will select Noah Daniels, cornerback, TCU. And the Panthers pick is already in. My heavens, there. Eric Gilbert. So, wow. The tight end that was the fastest tight end in the draft, Minnesota, needed one. And he's actually on their pick here at 64. It would have been a reach, but he goes in 25 or 24 in the second round. And my goodness, they again have their pick scooped out literally one pick ahead. So we'll see what Minnesota wants to do here. All right, and I'm being told the pick is in. Minnesota obviously was going to go tight end here, and they have theirs stolen right out in front of them. So Sam Laporta, welcome to Minnesota. They need a tight end. He is the second fastest, I do believe. He's got pretty good measurables. Again, maybe would have been a reach. He does have hidden talents, though, so only time will tell. 86 speed, 87 acceleration, and, of course, the catching in traffic of an A. So there you go. And catching in general an A. So the second fastest tight end will go off the board. Of course, the one picked previously was the fastest in Eric. But my heavens. So Sam Laporta, thank you, or welcome from Iowa. Jeez. So once again, Minnesota gets thwarted, and the Lions are on the clock. Coming up next, we got the Bills. Holy moly. So Lions pick is on, or in, rather. And they will pick Garrett Williams, cornerback out of Syracuse, and that will bring us to the Buffalo Bills. Minnesota picks again here. Coming up momentarily at 64.
I just got insight.
Oh, go ahead.
The Falcons are looking to move back into the second round.
Oh, snap. So the Falcons are looking to move back into the second round per the source and per sources. And we do have another trade. The Bills seem to have traded with the Packers. They will move down 4 spots. And it looks like the Falcons have traded with the Eagles to get back into the second round. You guys want to go? We'll go with Buffalo first since they're the pick here. What happened?
Buffalo's just looking again to add draft capital, especially after that snafu earlier where they thought they were trading with the Packers for more assets in this year's draft, but essentially traded with the Panthers, which got them our capital for next year's draft. So they're trying to regain some draft capital here.
Well, I wouldn't put it past the Packers to do anything to try and gain an advantage. So I don't blame them for that. Or you know what I mean? The Packers are sneaky. They're conniving little cousins that you don't want to see at family meetings, but you have to, and then you throw them into the dryer. So the Dryer Boy Packers, we'll see what they want to do here as their pick is in, and then we'll go to Atlanta and see what happened with the trade with the Eagles. That's very, very intriguing there. They must have somebody they want. So the Packers pick is in. It is Jared Patterson, center from Notre Dame, or Notre Dame, however you want to say it. So Atlanta on the clock. What happened here to get into this 28th pick of the second round?
So we noticed someone, wide receiver, obviously still need to work on the receiver core.
Mm-hmm.
And we were keeping up with the mock drafts and just scouting him and obviously keeping up with the draft. And This guy actually has jumped up 122 spots in the draft.
Oh my goodness.
And 6'3", and he's a slot receiver.
Okay.
So, I mean, you're basically putting 3 big guys, Pitts, Johnston, and now with my next pick.
The pick is in. So Cornelius Johnson, not to be confused with John Ston, wide receiver out of Michigan. Holy moly. So a couple wide receivers going to Atlanta. My heavens. All right. We appreciate all of the insight. That was a great call on how many spots he moved up. Whew. Looks better than Randy Replay. Maybe you should take over for the rest of the way. Indianapolis now on the clock. Their pick is in. They have had enough of waiting for all the trades to go through. They're going to make their selection. And it's Clark Phillips III, cornerback out of Utah. Excuse me. And then the Buffalo Bills, who just traded back a number of spots, are now back on the clock. Minnesota here in 2 picks away. So Atlanta going back-to-back taller wide receivers. Javon Foster will be the pick here, left tackle out of Missouri. So they get a left tackle here in the second. Now to close out the second round. Well, actually just about. We have one more. My apologies. This will be 63 overall pick for the 49ers. Do you want to go over Javon Foster real quick? What made you tout this guy here?
Buffalo's just looking to add a little bit of some more flexibility to their line. They lost a couple guys in the offseason. Get some youth in there. Hopefully they can protect Josh Allen so that he gets more time so that he doesn't make poor reads trying to get rid of the ball.
Right.
League leading interceptions last year.
There we go. Yeah, there was a bit of a problem. Kirk Cousins and Josh Allen were the 2 most sacked quarterbacks. So I'm surprised Minnesota has not taken a lineman. Hopefully, you know, they get one here. They did bolster their center position with somebody that the league kind of screwed them out of here. So with the name escapes me. We just signed him today. The center from Miami traded for him. I do believe his first name is Eric. That's all I can remember. But anyway, a pretty good overall center. So the 49ers pick is in. Sorry to interrupt on my own call. And TJ Bass, or TJ Bass, however you want to call it, left guard goes here. So another lineman right before the Minnesota Vikings are due to pick. And we'll see what they want to do with this one. All right. And the pick is in. It's going to be left guard Matthew Jones. And it is not the best left guard, so they will have to go out in free agency. And hopefully get one or trade for one here. But, yeah, they just kind of dropped the ball there. So Matthew Jones, left guard. Obviously, Bass or Base was a better one. But they got the best available guard, and you got to be happy about that. So the squandered, the makeshift offensive line at the end of the season last year seemed to be working okay. This will more than likely just be a depth move. But for now, he is the only left guard on roster. And so the Chiefs are on the board. Their pick is in next. Sean Tucker, another running back, goes off the board here. Then Los Angeles picks next. Zion Nelson, left tackle, slated to go on day 3. And he gets picked here on day 2, round 3 pick number 2. So Texans back-to-back. They know who they want. The picks are in. Jarrell Njami. That's what we're going to go with. Right outside linebacker out of Maryland. And their next pick will be strong safety Trey Dean. So back-to-back defensive picks for Houston. And what seems to be like the 40,000th pick for the Seattle Seahawks. We're going to have to get a full day tally. Their pick is in. And Brandon Joseph, free safety, Notre Dame or Notre Dame. The Jets are on the clock. Their pick is in. Jalen Catalan. So another free safety comes off the board. My heavens. All right. So Minnesota's pick coming up here momentarily. 5 picks away. New York Giants on the clock. Their pick is in. KJ Jefferson. So another QB goes off the board here out of Arkansas or Arkansas, however you want to say it. I don't know how it's not Arkansas, guys. It's spelled just the same. Isn't that weird? So not to be confused with KJ Osborne or Justin Jefferson. It's KJ Jefferson. All right. So here we go. Steelers on the clock. Their pick is in momentarily. Here we go. See who they selected. Aaron Frost, right tackle out of Nevada. Looks like a Viking himself. What a beard. Holy moly. Menacing right tackle out of Nevada or Nevada, however you want to say it. Randy Replay prefers the latter, Nevada. So the Browns are on the clock. Obviously, the Browns wanted to go to the Super Bowl. They were in the playoffs. How will they bolster here in the third? Gervin Dexter, another defensive tackle, goes off here. And the Lions pick is now in. Minnesota 2 picks away, like we just mentioned. And it's Owen Pepo, middle linebacker out of Auburn. So, middle linebacker getting taken here. Pick 10, round 3. So there has been a trend. Minnesota's selections getting taken right before they select. So here we go. Cardinals are on the clock right now. Their pick is in. They will select Killian Zaire. Killian Zaire, right tackle out of Auburn. So for the first time tonight, Minnesota can actually make actually the third time tonight. The first 2 were scripted. So here we go. They actually selected who they want. Minnesota will be fielding offers for this pick. And at 76, the Aints want to move up 2 spots, so they have somebody. 3 picks coming by way of the Patriots. There's a noise we haven't heard tonight. That was weird. And technical difficulties coming through. So Minnesota will make their selection, and we'll see who they want to select. All right, so Minnesota's pick is in. It is going to be cornerback Joey Porter Jr., one of the fastest corners in the draft. He is a normal. They reached here. They wanted somebody there. They had somebody in mind. He comes in with 94 acceleration, 96 change of direction. He's got a good jump rating. Speed of 91 rated by the NFL out of Penn State. 6'2", 192 slot corner. So a depth move. Again, they bolster their defensive back, which was the 31st ranked defense in the NFL. So just a speed guy, maybe being brought in as a kick or punt returner as well, as he is rated a B to C by the NFL. But C for catching for a corner, that's not bad. So Joey Porter Jr. is the selection for Minnesota here. Round 3. Out of Penn State. Minnesota had one more guy left on their board, but they thought this guy would be highly touted for his speed, and speed kills in the NFL. So if anything, they get a little bit of depth and some kick return, punt return related position battle there. So the Raiders on the clock now. Of course, Bumper Pool, we just had a discussion. He is still available. The Raiders will select Phil Jerkovic, a quarterback out of Boston College. Jerkovic, however you want to say it. We are motoring right along as the Aints pick is in. So the Aints will pick Zach Pickens, defensive tackle out of South Carolina. And the Titans on the clock. Their pick is in. We are motoring right along. Tyler Steen, right tackle out of Alabama, goes to Tennessee. So, all right. Buffalo picks here. 6 picks away. But right now it's the Baltimore Ravens. And they're on the clock. Their pick is in. Third round going a little bit faster now. Right outside linebacker Jack Campbell from Iowa. All right. So the Jets, those gosh darn Jets with the hunter, the mommy hunter, Zach Wilson at quarterback. I called him Zachary on the call. My heavens. I'm so sorry for all the Jets fans, but you will select Derek Hall, right end out of Auburn. And now Randy's, if we're being honest, Randy Replay does have another favorite team in the NFL besides the Minnesota Vikings that he likes to keep up with. It is the Denver Broncos. So I hoping for a good pick here off the side. And actually, if you take a look at the top center of your screen, Buffalo has near back-to-back picks, only split by Kansas City. So this is the draft capital that was mentioned earlier coming into fruition here. But before we get to that, the Denver Broncos pick is in and they select Zach Charbonnet, who is actually on Minnesota's board here in the 4th. He goes here round 3, pick 18. So Zach Charbonnet, the biggest power back in the NFL, in the draft rather. Well, I guess now he's in the NFL. I do believe he was 6'2", 235. He was the strongest running back in the draft, and he goes to Denver. So, my goodness, Terrell Davis reincarnate. Only time will tell. We'll see.
I got an insight.
Okay, insider, what's going on?
We were also looking at him.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Atlanta likes their bigger backs. You look at Devontae Freeman, who has literally thighs the size of tree trunks. My heavens.
And obviously Patterson, who was like that, to be honest.
Yep, the motor behind these guys, especially tall, too. I do believe Zach Charbonnet was 6'3", if I'm not mistaken, maybe 6'2".
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So we would have had tall receivers and a tall tight end and a tall running back then.
A nightmare in the red zone for sure. My goodness.
But I guess he's Broncos country. Let's ride.
Let's ride. Let's ride to the next pick. Miami's pick is in, and they will select Kyu Blue Kelly. That is a tongue twister, or Kyu Blue Kelly, however you want to say it. I'm assuming it's like Street Fighter Ryu. So Kyu Blue Kelly, cornerback out of Stanford. He's 22 years old and he's already got a receding hairline, much like LeBron James did. No pun. No shade thrown. So as we take a look at it, we got the Bucks, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Pats, and then the Falcons. However, Randy Replay's just butchering this little section, so let's get on to the next pick. It is in. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will take Colby Wooden, who was touted by Minnesota as a late pick. They do have 91 and 92 coming up. They were going to take this guy with one of those, so here we go. Buffalo on the clock. And I do believe Minnesota's draft board got leaked as somebody gets selected prior to their picks here. And the pick is in, so Buffalo will go wide receiver Dante Demus, or Demus, however you want to say it. Can we get some insight on this pick?
Yeah, Buffalo's just looking to add another deep threat. They lost quite a few receivers in the offseason, so just adding here, and hopefully these young guys have bring some unseen skills.
Yes, indeed. Especially if was he on the taller side?
I believe he's like 6'3".
Oh boy, okay. So seems to be a theme with the wide receivers here for the user teams. My goodness. Minnesota's going to have to catch up. So awesome. Appreciate that insight. It is the Kansas City Chiefs now. Their pick is in. Kansas City. Oh man, here comes another one. Rook Ororo. I do believe that is the best that I'm going to be able to do. Defensive tackle out of Clemson, and quickly Buffalo is back on the clock. As you can see, top of your screen, we have the Patriots, the Falcons, the Rams, and then 2 back-to-back We're already at 91 and 92, and then Minnesota picks at 96 again. So 3 picks in the next 7 for Minnesota. Oh boy. So looking to close out the draft with a couple of depth moves at this point. You're not going to get any diamonds in the rough. I mean, you'd hope for it, but not very likely here. We'll see what the Bills want to do with their selection. Round 3, pick 23. Who knows? And the Buffalo Bills select Nick Hampton, right outside linebacker from Appalachian State. And I do believe this is another depth move.
Yeah, just beefing up the defense now. I think Buffalo needs to look at. They gave up the most points in the league last season, so they need to really find some guys they can develop.
This is the best place to do it. Develop out of the draft. And it seems to be the belief through these teams, as not too many free agents have been signed. I do believe only 3 or 4 by the Vikings, and they only have 2 on roster, making some trades to get into the first round 3 times today. Of course, trading one of those 3 for pick number 5 overall, which they took Eli Ricks, cornerback from Alabama. The Patriots are on the clock. Then we go Falcons, Rams, Vikings, Vikings, Falcons. And here we go. So the Patriots pick is in. And it's Justin Flo. Minnesota, middle linebacker, Oregon. Not on Minnesota's board. So unless the Rams or the Falcons take somebody that Minnesota's touting, we should be good to go.
Oh, yeah. I like that. I love that pick.
Christopher Smith, free safety out of Georgia. And the GM over there loves the pick, the owner. And what made you fall in love with Christopher Smith? I mean, is this just somebody you've been touting for a little bit, or is it just a diamond in the rough kind of thing?
I'm going to be honest, it was a diamond in the rough. Like I said, I was going to take the guys that the Patriots took. I had my eyes on him, which many could have said it was a reach, but then I noticed the free safety out of Georgia, and obviously, like, from my scouts, I've heard a lot of good things about him and what they saw from him. I mean, I think I gotta love this pick, especially in this part of the draft.
Yes, indeed. Anytime you can get a good player, and again, Atlanta's sticking with that hometown storyline, and you just got to love when that sort of thing lines up. So very, very awesome. Good story. Great pick. Seem to be happy with it. And you get some secondary help, which is always a necessity now with all the speed in the NFL that we mentioned earlier. So we appreciate that insight. Great reporting as always. And we will go to the Rams, whose pick is in, and the Los Angeles Rams of Anaheim will take Tyke Smith. So back-to-back safeties. And now Minnesota on the clock for 2. Then we go to Falcons. Then we go to the Packers, the Eagles, and then Minnesota again. And that is their last pick for the draft. So 3 big picks here. Got to hit on at least, well, you love to hit on all of them, but if you can hit 2, you'd be sitting pretty. All right, and we are being told the pick is in. It will be left tackle Blake Freeland. Oh, my heavens, a hidden dev trait as given by the NFL. This is a monstrous left tackle out of BYU, 6'8", 305, 21 years of age. Not the fastest, but he is highly rated with strength by the NFL. He has good awareness. Yeah, he's one of the strongest left tackles in the draft, 6'8", 305. Obviously a depth move here in the 3rd round, but my goodness, a hidden dev trait. Could be big, could be bad. Who knows? Get some playing time in the preseason, and we'll figure out, hopefully, what he is. And Minnesota, fresh off the Blake Freeland pick, will pick again here. And with the 92nd overall pick, Minnesota's, I do believe, 2nd, 3rd round selection, they are going to take Justin Jacobs. He is normal rated by the NFL. He is known for his jumping. Number 1 ranked running back. My goodness, Randy, get it together. Middle linebacker. He's got good block shed, good awareness. play recognition. This is obviously a depth move here in the third. 6'4", 238, middle linebacker out of Iowa. But highly touted as one of the elite jumping middle linebackers, plugging up the middle of the field. And he'll be backing up Eric Kendricks and company. So clearly a depth move. What do you guys think about those two picks? I don't think Freeland will start over Christian Darrisaw, at least not in the beginning, he being a hidden dev trait. What do you guys think?
I think it's a good move by the Vikings. They just need to add some depth, but also if Darrisaw goes down, you got that big monster, right? That you can hopefully slide right in there.
Very true. 6'8", 305.
You hate to see injuries, but you just never know, right?
Right. Or if he gives up 22 sacks and multiple penalties again, and he needs to be held out a game just to recollect, you can throw him in there. That is true. And so now the Falcons on the board. And we got some other picks from teams that we follow here coming up. Minnesota, their last pick of the draft, and then Buffalo makes their selection here in the 4th round. Oh, my apologies. It will be the 3rd round. And it looks like the Falcons have picked Jackson Kirkland, somebody that the Minnesota Vikings were looking at as well. They just chose the other left tackle that was available. What do you think about this pick? What drew you into Kirkland?
I mean, I think it's pretty simple. Obviously, trying to protect Bryce Young, obviously our future and hopeful franchise QB of the franchise. And I just really like Kirkland, and I thought he'd be a great pickup right now to obviously build up the O-line.
There you have it. Great job as always. And yeah, that's what the 3rd round is. Your meat and potato round here, as the Packers, as much as we don't like those guys over there, are on the clock now. Their pick is in, and they will select Devin Ashane or Ashane, not sure, running back out of Texas A&M. I will be doing homework for next season, I promise you. Some of these pronunciations will get better. The Scumbags, Eagles are on the clock. Their pick is in, and they have selected Zach Evans, running back out of Ole Miss. And we'll see the Minnesota Vikings' final pick, to close out the 3rd round, round 3, pick 32. And then as you can see at the top of your screen, the Bills and Falcons will make their 4th round selections here momentarily. And Minnesota's last pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, Robert Scott Jr., right tackle, may have been a reach. He was slated to go on day 3, 6'5", 312 out of Florida State. He is definitely agile. At one point, the strongest right tackle in the NFL Draft. He has slumped a little bit, but definitely one of the fastest linemen. And not really built like a lineman. That could prove to be a little bit hurtful. But yeah, either way, Minnesota will end taking linemen in their last 2 of their last 3 picks. Obviously just depth moves here. They got their bread and butter in the first 3 picks. So welcome Robert Scott Jr. to Minnesota. And the Browns, Minnesota took a little bit longer to pick, so a little bit of technical difficulties. Lathan Ransom, I do believe a free safety, went while we were evaluating the pick by Minnesota, and the graphics did not catch up. Brenton triple asterisk apparently goes to the Browns. Talk about your free safety a little bit. I do apologize that on the simulcast we didn't get to announce it and visit it. What I don't know what happened, but what brought you to selecting Mr. Ransom here in the 4th round?
Strong safety out of Ohio State, I believe.
Oh, strong.
I'm just looking for a physical safety back there. Buffalo lost. They had picked up midway through the season, picked up Jaron Curse, and he walked away in free agency. So they're just looking to backfill there, some depth in the secondary.
Gotcha. That seems to be the theme here in the 4th round, and another theme, Asterix Herbig. I'm not sure if that's a bug. I mean, we're having some technical difficulties here to begin the 4th round. My goodness. Anyway, Herbig is a left outside linebacker out of Wisconsin. He will go to Kansas City, Chiefs, that is. And we do have the Falcons on the clock. So I'm not sure what is going on with that. I did say the NFL is trying to make it a little bit safer for work here on the simulcast, but my goodness, what is his first name that they have to asterisk it out? And the pick is in for Atlanta, Blake Corum, a running back out of Michigan. So you lose the one that you've been touting. I forget the team that took him. Minnesota was also touting him as well. Charbonnet, that is. And Blake Corum gets selected here. Explain the pick. Why a running back here in the 4th?
So obviously, as you know, I was looking at other running backs, and obviously we moved on from Patterson this offseason. So obviously needed to get a running back, and this guy's really fast, and from what I know, he can actually fight for extra yards and break some tackles. So if I could use this guy's speed and possibly get a power back with one of my other picks, have a two-headed monster in Atlanta with my tall receivers and obviously Pitts, I mean, this offense could really get it going.
Yes, indeed. And going back to the Patterson comment, we know what it's like to move on from Patterson, unfortunately. So very, very big loss, and hopefully the two-headed monster that was spoken about will suffice as we go into year 2 of this franchise. While we're talking here, Tyler Davis, selected by the Cowboys. The Browns pick is in. Mikael Jones, middle linebacker out of Syracuse, will stay. I do believe their colors are orange, so I do believe he will stay in orange. The New York Giants are on the clock. Their pick is in. They will take Travis Dye. As far as I know, no relation to Minnesota linebacker Troy Dye. Running back out of USC, and Buffalo back on the clock. Very nice. Their pick is in very, very quickly. Troy Brown, middle linebacker, Ole Miss. Trying to bolster the defense here. You guys have taken mostly defense here in the latter rounds.
Buffalo was actually looking at grabbing, I forget his name now, that defensive tackle just went a couple picks ago, and to hopefully help some run stop. Since he was gone, they're just looking to bolster the linebacking crew. There's some rumors that they may mix in a little 3-4. So having another middle linebacker there with Tremaine Edmonds is what they're looking for.
Yeah, Minnesota just switched to a 3-4 as well, so hopefully it works out as well. Well, hopefully better than what we've experienced the last season. We were the 2 worst defenses in the NFL in terms of yardage given up. While we were discussing, Jaron Hall was taken by the Washington Commanders, QB out of BYU. Lions pick is in. We're motoring on and on. Hendon Hooker. So the Hooker goes. QB out of Tennessee goes to the Detroit Lions. So, okay. So a couple QBs going here as Cardinals pick is in. I can't get over that name. I do apologize. Braden Daniels, right guard out of Utah, a late pick here. And the Chargers are on the clock. And we are going to skip ahead. Deuce Vaughn, running back out of Kansas State, will be taken by the Browns, and the Bills are back on the clock here. Round 4, pick 24. Due to time constraints, we can't deep dive every single pick here. But we will take a peek at some of the most random names we've ever heard. Mr. Poole and Mr. Duck, the cornerback, of course. We'll be figuring out where they go. But for now, the Bills just took a linebacker last time out, and Jaheim Bell, tight end out of South Carolina, So you go off defense, back to offense. Explain the pick a little bit here as you got a next one coming up here in 6 picks.
Yeah, so Buffalo lost Howard in free agency, and so they're really looking for a good backup for Dawson Knox. Knox he led the team in receptions this last season, but that wear and tear, you just never know.
Indeed, I like that analysis. My heavens, you guys should take over. You guys are killing it. Randy's stumbling over his words, laughing when he shouldn't. You know, a little immaturity showing, but I do appreciate that insight as the Eagles are on the clock again. And they will take, oh my goodness, the guy with the most randomest name, Habakkuk Baldonado. The left end out of Pittsburgh goes here by way of Philadelphia. So that was one of the ones where Randy was wondering, where would this guy go? He finally goes here in the 4th round. Back-to-back Patriots picks are in. It will be Dontavian Wicks, not to be confused with Mr. Jonathan Wick, as wide receiver out of Virginia goes. The next pick is in, and it is Jaleel Billingsley, tight end out of Texas. Chiefs are on the clock. I'm being told that their pick is in. We got a couple Buffalo picks coming up here. Motoring right along here in the 4th. Ali Gaye, or Gay, however you want to say it, right end out of LSU. And the Colts are on the clock. Hopefully Randy gets a little bit of time to breathe here. As Minnesota Vikings were looking at right end Ali for their last pick, but they found somebody that they think will help. And see what happens here as the pick is in for the Colts. And it's Eric Gray, running back out of Oklahoma. Seems to be an Oklahomie, as the Buffalo Bills are back on the clock. We'll see what happens. And while we're analyzing something in the booth here, I totally missed the pick. Grayson McCall, quarterback out of Coastal Carolina. I didn't even know that was a thing. Explain the McCall pick here. Oh, gosh. The pick here, is Case Keenum still on your roster?
He's no longer on the Buffalo Bills roster, but he may be on his rocker now. Case Keenum he's moved on from Buffalo. I mean, he's just a journeyman backup. So right now Buffalo's sitting with Josh Allen, of course, and this will be a competition for that backup spot between Jake Fromm and Grayson McCall.
Heck yes, indeed. And we're looking at the picks upcoming. You guys have 2 in the next 6, 3 in the last 10. So my heavens, the draft capital that was spoke of earlier coming to fruition often. So the 49ers on the clock now. I'm being told their pick is in after Randy botches a couple words there. Carter Warren, left tackle out of Pittsburgh, will be taken, and this is a big pick for the Broncos here to round out the 4th round. I almost said 4th quarter. My goodness. So the last pick in the 4th round will be Keandre Coburn, rather, not the grocery store. Defensive tackle out of Texas, and Buffalo back on the clock. Feels like we just talked to you. What are you thinking for the Bills here?
Bills have a few options, but we're in those late picks now where it's really just thinking about depth and what the future may hold. So there's a couple targets they're looking at, but I think they're gonna take some time here.
Or Dro, I appreciate it. Gotcha. Okay. All right. So we are in round 5. I do believe Atlanta said that they don't have a pick until round 6. So it looks like round 5 will belong to Buffalo here. And we can scoot along due to time constraints, and then round out the draft with the ever apparent Mr. Irrelevant. Kind of a celebration piece as we do these little franchises here. Henny, do you have a round 7 at all?
No.
Okay. So I'll just motor through it and not talk, and then get to Mr. Irrelevant, because that's the biggest thing.
Let's hope it even shows it this year.
Oh, I'm gonna have to skip until the last. So, all right, and the pick looks like it's coming through here. It will be Parker Washington, wide receiver, Penn State. Assuming this is just another depth move.
Another depth move, just a slot receiver. He's kind of on the smaller side, but maybe you know, a little shifty.
I like it indeed. Maybe a little kick return, punt return possibility as well. Get small in between those big special teams boomers. Kansas City will take Robert Beal, right outside linebacker. Georgia Texans on the clock. Randy Replay talking a little bit too much as their pick is in. Darnell Wright, left tackle out of Tennessee. So the offensive line really getting some attention here later on in the draft. And Buffalo coming back on the clock once again. Holy moly. Draft capital with a capital D, and Byron Young, left outside linebacker out of Tennessee, will be the pick. Go into a little bit of detail about this one.
Just another depth move here for the Bills, looking to bolster that defense. As you know, we've discussed it already. They were the worst defense in the league, so hopefully these guys can develop.
My goodness. Yes, indeed. So time constraints a thing as well. We are going to go advance to the next user pick here. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of picks, and it's Buffalo again. The pick is in. It is Jordan Morgan, right tackle, Arizona, here in the 6th round, the 5th round, and beyond. It's all going to be about depth, and I'm assuming that's what this was all about.
Depth. Maybe you find a diamond in the rough, right? I mean, he's a 6'6", 312.
Jeez.
You know, he's a big boy.
There you go. I like it. And now the Falcons are on the clock, and then we have Buffalo here coming back. Oh gosh, should I even attempt this? The Jets previously just picked David Ugwogbu. That's the best I can do. Hey, that rhymed. Left outside linebacker out of Oklahoma. So Oklahoma getting some attention here in the latter rounds. And it looks like the pick is in Brady Gabriel, right tackle out of Michigan. Really quickly, as the Bills are on the clock, do you want to explain the pick here? Is it just depth, or?
I mean, I wish I had that. This was just kind of, it was kind of more of a prayer, you know. Hopefully you find something.
All right, I get that.
He's got some pretty good strength, though. Besides that, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, that's all right. Stabs in the dark here to end the 6th. Now the first pick of the 7th round belongs to the Buffalo Bills. They are on the clock. Now it's all about attempting to fill out your roster. Kind of see what shakes loose here. Next couple picks belong to Denver, 2 to Houston, and then San Francisco. The pick is in. It's Byron Young, defensive tackle out of Alabama, going to the excuse me, Buffalo Bills. Assuming depth again.
It's another depth move there on the defensive line.
Yeah.
Buffalo, I mean, they need some depth, but also, I mean, I don't know how it was for Minnesota, Atlanta, or anyone else around the league, but it seemed like almost every game someone on the defensive line went down.
Yeah, we definitely had our fair share of injuries.
Oh, yeah, I know that feeling about injury.
Yeah, you guys had some guys on the IR for pretty much the whole season. My goodness.
Yep.
And the league wouldn't let you take them off. What was going on? Did you ever figure that out?
No, I would actually like to sue the league.
Oh, snap. Okay, so breaking news out of the NFL draft. Wait, did we just have a trade?
Yeah, so Buffalo traded to get another pick there. Just traded away a 6th rounder next year to jump back in and grab this corner from Auburn. The word on the street is honestly, the Buffalo assistant GM, so not Slick Rick, but their assistant GM got a son by the same name, so he decided they wanted to just jump in and grab him.
Got you. So a name-based pick here in the 7th round. I like it. Nehemiah Pritchett. You got to love that story. My heavens. The 49ers hold the 31st pick in the 7th round. With that selection, they select Brian Cloud, right tackle, Fresno State. And then, as we like to do it, Mr. Irrelevant. Mr. Irrelevant. Who's it going to be? It will be... Oh. I think it was
Yeah,
DeJordan.
it always does that.
I think it was DeJordan Strong. I do believe. I don't know. We'll have to go look at the Browns roster and see. I do believe it was DeJordan Strong, Mr. Irrelevant for your 2023 draft. And hello and welcome. The 2023 NFL draft has concluded. For your Minnesota Vikings, we will take a peek at the draft recap, as we normally do. And for your Minnesota Vikings, Anthony Richardson was taken number 1, in the first round, number 2 overall. His contract will be $11.6 million for 4 years. He will wear number 15. He's a 73. Got really good speed at 91, 93 acceleration. Stiff arm is an 83 break tackle, so he's very, very physical at 6'4", 232, I do believe. Minnesota has hit on one of the best quarterbacks in the draft. 94 throw power, 80 short, 76 medium, 77 deep. So really, Kirk Cousins was 90 short, and I do believe low 80s deep and medium. So we really didn't miss out on anything. We send Kirk Cousins away. He's a 35-year-old, and Anthony Richardson comes in at 73, 21. Throw on the run of 80, so a break sack of 87. My goodness, a very physical, mobile quarterback, something new that Minnesota has not ever had. Physical grade of 92, injury of 94, so he will be pretty good there. A full 99 size grade for his position. So Minnesota getting their guy, Anthony Richardson, at number 2 overall. Minnesota has traded away their 28th overall selection, as well as two of their number 2s to move up into the 5th. We talked about that. Or move up into overall pick number 5. We talked about that. And they select Eli Ricks, a 76 overall corner with 91 speed. He's very, very good at man coverage. We're going to take a look at his ratings here momentarily. We won't do this for everybody, but 79 man, 74 zone, and 84 press. Minnesota plays a lot of press coverage. So that is good to know for him. So Eli Ricks selected number 5 overall, and then Minnesota had one more pick in the in the first. That will be 32nd overall. They take Jacqueline Waugh, or Jacqueline Roy, however you want to say it. 73 overall, defensive tackle. And from LSU. So he's got pretty good strength, 88, the most out of anybody they selected. And then their tight end gets taken going into the second round, so they had to settle for Sam Laporta, of course, from Iowa. He still is pretty good here, 73 overall. Really decent speed. I do believe he is 6'2". He's 6'4", 249, so a pretty big physical tight end, as you can see there. Gets a morale boost. He is a hidden dev trait, so look for him to play a lot in the preseason. We'll bring you those games as well coming up. So a big physical tight end, something we needed. We still need to get one more, but that will suffice for now. And then we come back. Matthew Jones, left guard, just for depth. He turns out we hit on one. 73 overall rated for his position. He's got pretty good blocking. Pretty good blocking ratings. 80 for pass block. Run block, he will struggle in the NFL. This definitely was a reach pick, but it turns out at Minnesota, like the pick at 6'4", 315, he will be definitely in there for the pass block situations and injuries if they happen. And then we come back and we get one of the corners that Minnesota was touting after they selected Eli Ricks. A very, very There we go. Very, very fast corner, the fastest in the draft with elite speed, 91, 94 for speed and acceleration, 96 change of direction. So his agility is elite as well. He was the fastest, or top 5 fastest, sorry, corner in the draft, Joey Porter Jr. He is a normal, rated by the NFL, but there you go. Some of the agility, 96 agility, 94 acceleration, and he has got a motor that will not quit. And there you go. And then we come back in the third, and we take quite possibly the tallest tackle in the draft, 6'8", 305. This guy is a beef eater. He is a hidden dev trait, 71 overall. He is a monster out of BYU. I mean, this guy, look at his torso. He can generate so much force. As you see, his strength, one of the strongest linemen and the strongest tackles in the draft. Needs some work on blocking, power, finesse. Lead block, he's okay. So he will need some work. He will need some development, but my goodness, holy moly, chicken stromboli, what a pick for Minnesota. 6'8", 305, 21-year-old. So he is, you would think he's not done growing yet. Rookie out of BYU. So my heavens, what a pick. And Buffalo really, really liked that pick as well. So added some more stuff that Randy Replay totally missed. And then we come back, get a middle linebacker, Justin Jacobs. These last 2 picks were just for, excuse me, depth and position fill-ups. Pretty good speed, field general, middle linebacker. And then we actually hit on a really, really good offensive lineman. Right tackle Robert Scott, to where he could come in and he can play guard. They had him at guard for a little bit there in Florida State. And he's got pretty good strength as well, 88 matching Blake Freeland. So Robert Scott Jr., not a slouch as well at 6'5", 312. 92 strength, among the best. Yeah, he needs some pass block work. Really good at run block finesse. As you can see, 78 and 82 as rated by the NFL. Pretty good stamina. And so Minnesota bolstering their offensive line. 19th ranked right tackle in the NFL coming into the season. So not bad draft for Minnesota. They get their guy Anthony Richardson. They needed a quarterback. They got one of the top 3. And then they get the 2nd overall ranked corner. They come back. They get a pretty good defensive tackle. They get one of the best tight ends, 3rd overall or 4th overall, I do believe. They get a really good left guard in Matthew Jones. They get just a monster in terms of agility, in speed in Joey Porter Jr. Look for him to make his room in the kick return game, as Kenny Nwangwu will take over backup running back to Dalvin Cook. And then they get the beefeater, the monster, Blake Freeland, the biggest guy Randy Replay has ever stood next to at 6'8". My goodness. And then Justin Jacobs and Robert Scott to round out the draft. It has been a day here from the SSN reporting on Minnesota Vikings football. And really the Bills and the Falcons too. We've done like a simulcast here, and it's been a long day. Randy Replay, I do believe that's going to do it for me. The offseason has been very good to the Minnesota Vikings. They made a lot of trades to get up into the top 5. They got 2 picks in the top 5, but nobody will match what the Falcons have done this season, and all of their selections coming by way of seemingly out of nowhere, out of the fields. And then Buffalo making trades on draft night, moving back, having a little mishap, but it seems they have recovered nicely, and it'll be good to see what happens with these teams going forward. And my heavens, what a draft. We like to thank you all for watching. This has been Randy Replay. I will see you during the preseason. Good night.